What if I told you that 90% of students are wasting the most productive hours of their day, and they have absolutely no idea? Not because they're lazy, not because they don't care, but because nobody ever showed them when their brain actually works. Here's something that stopped me cold when I first read it. Neuroscientist Andrew Huberman's research suggests that the first 90 minutes after waking up may be the single most important window for focus, mood, and learning retention, and most students are spending it scrolling through Instagram. That's not a criticism. That's just what happens when no one hands you a map. Today, I'm handing you that map. As William James, the father of American psychology, once said, "The greatest revolution of our generation is the discovery that human beings, by changing the inner attitudes of their minds, can change the outer aspects of their lives." Your routine is your mindset. Build it right, and everything else gets easier. This video covers 5 science-backed anchors for a student daily routine that could genuinely shift your academic performance. Before we go further, like this video, drop a comment, share it with a classmate who needs this, subscribe to the channel, and please don't skip any part. Every section builds on the last. Number 1. When the morning before your phone does. Sleep researcher Matthew Walker's work at UC Berkeley appears to indicate that the brain consolidates learning during the last 2 hours of sleep, the part most students cut short. So the alarm going off at 6 a.m. after sleeping at 2 a.m. isn't discipline. It's quietly sabotaging your memory. Here's the reframe. Don't just set a wake time. Set a sleep time first. Pick a consistent wake-up window, not a random target that shifts every day. Within the first 10 minutes of waking, step outside or near a window. Natural light exposure in the morning helps regulate your cortisol rhythm, which appears to prime alertness for the hours ahead. Skip the phone for at least 20 minutes. Not because screens are evil, but because your brain's default mode network, the part responsible for creative thinking and memory replay, is still active right after waking. Interrupting it with notifications is like closing a browser tab mid-save. Drink water. Move your body, even just a short walk. These aren't fluffy wellness tips. They're physiological primers. Number 2. Study with your biology, not against it. There's a concept in chronobiology called the ultradian rhythm, roughly 90-minute cycles of high focus followed by a dip. Nathaniel Kleitman, the sleep scientist who discovered REM sleep, proposed that these cycles don't stop when we wake up. They continue throughout the day. What this may suggest for students is simple. Study in 90-minute blocks, then rest for 15 to 20 minutes. Not because it sounds neat, because your brain's neurochemistry appears to cycle whether you cooperate or not. Trying to power through 4 straight hours of studying without a break doesn't build resilience. It just generates worse retention and higher cortisol. Use the Pomodoro method if 90 minutes feels overwhelming at first. Start with 25-minute focus sessions. Then scale up. The goal isn't to study longer. It's to study while your brain is actually receptive. Number 3. Feed the machine, literally. Here's something uncomfortable. A 2017 study published in PLOS One found that students who skipped breakfast showed measurably lower scores on attention and memory tasks compared to students who ate even a modest meal. Your brain accounts for roughly 20% of your body's total energy use, despite being only about 2% of body weight. It is, metabolically speaking, extremely demanding, and it runs on glucose. Starving it and then asking it to absorb organic chemistry is optimistic. This doesn't mean you need a 5-course breakfast. Whole grains, protein, something with fat, eggs, oats, a handful of nuts, whatever fits your life. The point is eating something before a study session, not 3 hours into it when the headache kicks in. Hydration matters just as much. Even mild dehydration, around 1 to 2% body water loss, has been shown to impair cognitive performance in multiple studies. Keep water at your desk. That's it. Simple. Number 4. The review habit that actually sticks. Hermann Ebbinghaus mapped this in the 1880s, and it still holds. Without review, we forget roughly 70% of new information within 24 hours. That's not a personal failure. That's just how declarative memory works. The fix, spaced repetition, is one of the most replicated findings in cognitive psychology. Instead of rereading your notes the night before an exam, you review material at increasing intervals. 1 day later, then 3 days, then a week, then 2 weeks. Each review session appears to reset the forgetting curve and push information deeper into long-term memory. There's a real student in Lagos, studying medicine on a budget, no fancy apps, who printed flashcards and stuck them to his bathroom mirror, reviewing them while brushing his teeth. He cleared his anatomy module on the first attempt. Consistent, short, spaced reviews. That's the entire secret. Tools like Anki make this almost automatic. But even a simple notebook with dates works. Number 5. Protect your wind-down window. As Cal Newport writes in Deep Work, the end of the day matters as much as the beginning. Not because resting is passive, but because the brain processes and files the day's learning during sleep, particularly during deep slow-wave sleep in the early part of the night. If you're studying intensely until 1 a.m., then staring at your phone until 2, then lying awake anxious, your brain never gets a clean handoff to the consolidation process. Build a wind-down routine that's at least 30 minutes long. Dim lights, no screens if possible, light reading, journaling, stretching. This isn't soft advice, it's architecture. You're building the conditions for memory consolidation to actually happen. The goal of a student daily routine isn't to squeeze more hours out of a day. It's to make the hours you do invest count, neurologically, not just motivationally. So here's the picture. Win your morning intentionally. Study in sync with your ultradian rhythm. Eat before you try to think. Review material in spaced intervals. And protect the end of your day like it matters. Because neurologically, it absolutely does. None of this is complicated. None of it costs money. What it costs is consistency, which, fair warning, is harder than it sounds. But students who apply even 2 or 3 of these consistently, their results look different within weeks. Not because they're suddenly smarter, because they stopped working against their own biology. As the Stoic philosopher Epictetus put it, we cannot choose our external circumstances, but we can always choose how we respond to them. Your routine is that response, made concrete, made daily. If this video gave you even one idea worth keeping, like it, share it with a student who needs it, subscribe to the channel, and drop your biggest takeaway in the comments. Your comment might be the thing that keeps someone else going.